Oh, oh, thank you. Alrighty. Good morning, everyone. Happy Sunday. How's everyone? Nice to see you all. I hope you're enjoying the beautiful, beautiful weather that we've been blessed with today, and I hope for the rest of the week. It was a crazy week, right? With like smoke and everything. Is everyone's, lung and oxygen level okay? I really hope so. Anyways, New York City was not fun to be in during that time, but yeah, very nice to see all of you. Yeah, are we ready? Are we excited for an awesome Sunday? Great. Okay, so before we invite our music team up, we just want to share a couple of announcements. Cool. So next Saturday is the Chumbo Great Works here. Next Saturday. Yes, that's right. 2 Saturdays from now. 2 Saturdays from now on June 24th is the Chumbo Great Works. It'll be here at Belvedere. So there's some emails that are going around. All the information will be there. So make sure to check your spam folders and make sure you're getting all the information there. And I'm sure any questions that can come up, you can contact the pastoral team as well. But that'll be on June 24th, Saturday. Then the next day, on Sunday, June 25th, is going to be a big regional service here at Belvedere as well. So the local community gatherings will be postponed to another date, but please do come. It'll be nice to see brothers and sisters from around the tri-state area, regional area, right? So, and I believe Reverend Damian Dunkley will also be giving the sermon that day. So it'll be nice to get together and attend the regional service on Sunday after Chumbo Great Work. So that's in 2 weeks from now as well. And there will be a yard sale next week to support Sunday school, young adults, and Kodan. So if you would like to donate any used goods that are in good condition, please in good condition. That way, some people might want to buy, but also it's just a good way to give back to the community and raise funds for these amazing ministries happening in our community, right? So yes, who should be the contact person for this? Kanai-san. All right. So if you have anything you'd like to donate, please get in contact with Kanai. Witnessing. Anyone here interested in witnessing? Has anyone felt the spark, the rebirth spirit yet? Yeah. Are we still getting there? Great. So if you'd like to learn more about the new Belvedere experience, I believe Reverend Clark is initiating this training. The training will start Tuesday at 8 p.m. on Zoom. So if you just in general want to find out a little bit more about what's to come in Belvedere when it comes to witnessing, you can, of course, get in contact with Reverend Clark, but also join the Zoom call at 8 p.m. I'm sure an email will also go out as well with information regarding that as well. And just a few more announcements. So today at Ebenezer Church of God with our amazing brother, Reverend Polo, and his wife, Mrs. Polo, there will be a blessing event taking place. So if you want to make the trip to Yonkers, I'm sure it'll be an amazing, amazing experience. We've been working really closely with Reverend Polo, and Pastor Justin and him have a very, very beautiful relationship. So if you're available at 12:15 to head down there and witness the blessing event, you are more than welcome and invited as well to attend. And just a few more announcements. If you haven't registered, well, I wish we were all of youth age to register for summer camps, right? But if you do have a child or a teenager at home who hasn't registered for summer camps or summer workshops, I highly, highly encourage them to sign up, because summer workshops are really an opportunity to also gather with youth from different areas in the region to have a really nice experience and a bonding experience too. So there's Camp Aurora, there's the Epic Workshop with registration closes today. There's Project Arenda as well. And if you want your kids to do all of them, it is very, very, very possible. We are going to try our best to give a nice scholarship if needed, because again, investing in our youth is very important, right? They're so precious, so we want to make sure that they get the most amazing experience in the summer, right? So they're not at home playing video games and stuff like that all the time. But yeah, if you have any questions, you can of course talk to me, and I'll be happy to give more information. That being said, 1 second. Alrighty, so before we go into our praise and worship music, I'd like to invite up Uncle Bill Lay for a testimony. He's going to share about his experience in Las Vegas. Let's welcome him up.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Wow. So, over the past few months, a couple of things have been happening. One of them is morning devotion. And I came to be very fond of morning devotion and very fond of Dr. Young. And what a wonderful offering it was. It was 941 consecutive mornings. And that's Ku Sa Il.
Oh.
Ku Sa Il, right? How's the Korean going? Kongbonhamnida. Ku Sa Il, Dr. Young said, maybe he's talking about the Hanja or something, but he says it means to narrowly escape death. Okay, so what a wonderful offering it was to make Ku Sa Il, kind of concluding it and offering it up to God. Well, simultaneously, something was happening out in Las Vegas, and that was the creation of the Chun Shim Wan. And Chun Shim Wan means Garden of God's Heart. So if you thought Chun Shim Wan meant prayer room, you were mistaken. Garden of God's Heart. Isn't that great? All right. And we're going to have our own Chun Shim Wan here in Belvedere soon. First, we started with a vegetable garden. And thank you to everybody, Dominic and Mika, especially Dominic, restored that greenhouse from a kind of dilapidated condition. How wonderful to recreate that. And it went to the point where it had graffiti on the walls, okay? And it's restored now. And Isabel and Q. And then Isabel and Q arrived, taking our vegetable garden into this wonderful level. And now we're going to welcome the Garden of God's Heart. All right. So I went out to Las Vegas to pray in the Chun Shim Wan. And that was my purpose in going out to Las Vegas. But actually, what was happening there was much bigger than I imagined. And, Reverend Dunkley really has received a true mother's, what can I say, revolutionary message. This morning we're having this 21-day condition with Pastor Justin. And there was this reading this morning about clearing up all the dark shadows or anything that has to be, let's get it straightened out. Okay, let's get it straightened out. And that's what Reverend Dunkley's messages are about. And I tell you, it's very transformative. I know Pastor Justin feels the same way. It was nice to be out there with him, by the way. And, having received these transformative words, and then, honestly, President Dunkley said, don't just go out and start talking about everything you heard here. I'd like to bring people to Las Vegas, and I'd like to do this in a kind of a special way, So we should all make a plan to go out there and experience it. But I'll just conclude by saying that understanding more about, Mother and her course and her very strong love and allegiance to True Father and their role as true parents it is transforming the way I view everything, let's say. So that's my testimony. Thank you. Song team. Yeah.
Thank you, Uncle A, for sharing that testimony with us. And as we continue to build this, God's garden of the heart, loving heart. And if everyone wouldn't mind standing up, we're going to start off with a little bit of by and by, get ourselves warmed up as we continue to gather the saints here at home amongst this garden at Belvedere. Hope that warmed you up. Feeling good. So this is a song that has been in the Black Book for a while. The church, it's been a church song for a long time, but we haven't done it here necessarily. So I hope you can join us as we sing As Children of Your Love. Please take it away. Go on and on. And that's the children of this family. We pledge our hearts to you. As children of your love, we are the children of your love. As children of your love. As children of your love. Family. We pledge our hearts to you, as children of your love. Thank you very much. God bless. Oh, yeah. We're going to welcome up our song performance.
Let's give it up one more time for our worship team. That was amazing. It's really nice to hear also Kyoko-san's solo. She has such a beautiful voice. So we have one more song. This is a performance song we're going to be singing for you, performing for you. It's called Higher by Creed. And yeah, it's been a little while since we had our performance band together. I don't know if you noticed, something's a little different. Actually, if you notice, we are all now a blessed band. Because Jintoku just went to the blessing with his wonderful wife. I think she's here, right? Yeah, she's here. Oh, there she is. All right, so please enjoy. And yeah, this song is Higher, and it's all about bringing us higher to God, closer to God. We want to bring ourselves up to that place where we can really feel and see God's dream. Should I say more?
Pretty good.
When dreaming, I'm guided to another world, time and time again. At sunrise, I fight to stay asleep, 'cause I don't want to leave the comfort of this place. 'Cause there's a hunger, a longing to escape from the life I live when I'm away. So let's go there. Let's make our escape. Come on, let's go there. Let's ask, can we stay? Can you take me higher to a place where blind and see? Can you take me higher to a place with golden trees? Oh, I like a world to change. It helps me to appreciate those nights and those dreams. But my friend, I'd sacrifice all those nights if I could make the earth and my dreams the same. The only difference is to let love replace all our hate. Let's go there. Let's make our escape. Come on, let's go there. Let's ask, can we stay? Can you take me higher to a place where blind man see? Can you take me higher to a place where it's golden streams? Let's go there. Let's go there. Come on, let's go there. Let's ask, can we stay? I feel like I'm alive for the very first time. Set up high, I'm strong enough to take these dreams and make them mine. Set up high, I'm strong enough to take these dreams and make them mine. Can you take me higher to a place where blind men see? Can you take me higher to a place with golden trees? Can you take me higher to a place where blind men see? Can you take me higher to a place with golden streets?
Good morning, brothers and sisters. Good morning. Please join me in prayer. Our beloved Heavenly Parent, we all came here to Belvedere today to see you and to see our brothers and sisters, to enjoy our fellowship centering upon you. Heavenly Parent, we know that divine principle teaches that we are given an important responsibility as human beings, as your sons and daughters. Therefore, we are always willing to take responsibility, to courageously march forward, go forward, even at the risk of our lives, even by shouldering you upon our shoulders because we know that you are a God of suffering due to the fall of humanity. Also, we are willing to shoulder our true parents, our true mother especially, upon our shoulders. To exert our courage. We know that she has been going through a lot of challenges. Therefore, we are willing to help her to address those challenges victoriously. Heavenly Parent, at the same time, we know there are moments at which we should humbly lower ourselves to reflect upon our mission, to be able to hear your guidance and message. And we know that the Sunday service today is such a moment. Please help us to understand the core of your truth, core of your message, which would be given to us through our beloved Pastor Justin. This moment we really want to take seriously by opening our hearts and minds. This is the time for us to humbly learn something, because sometimes in the midst of our living and working, we may fall into a certain level of ignorance. Therefore, we really want to be enlightened more. Heavenly Parent, please give us your guidance. Thank you so much for this wonderful opportunity. And I want to offer a sincere prayer report in the names of Theodore and Sunie Shimyo. Blessings for family. Aju.
Thank you, Dr. Shivio, for that beautiful prayer. Alrighty, beautiful children, Sunday school is starting now, so you can go. Thank you. Alrighty, so are we ready to open our hearts, open our ears, our minds to receive the word today? Are we ready? Awesome. So we are going to invite up our amazing pastor who loves this community so much, who will share the message on living with the Spirit. Let's get ready, all right? And welcome up Pastor Justin Okamoto.
So much. Good morning, brothers and sisters. Good morning. So good to see you all here. It's a wonderful Sunday. Are you feeling the Spirit today?
Yes. Yeah.
I'm feeling it. Today, we're going to be talking about living with the Spirit. And it's kind of a follow-up to last week's sermon where we talked about, True Mother's desire to really revive our community, to be a community that really lives with spirit and truth, right? So who wants to live with the Spirit? Anybody? Do you want to live with that Spirit sometimes? Or all the time? All the time.
Yeah.
Let me take this one. Yeah, I want to live with that Spirit all the time. I think once you taste it, once you feel it, it's like, oh, I want to just feel this all the time. I was thinking about America, and America is going through a lot right now. I think America, one of its greatest challenges might also be, I think, its greatest potential and opportunity. I was thinking about this. You might not know what that is, but I realize Americans really love to get high. How high? Anyone else like getting high? No, I'm not gonna. No, don't put your hands up for that one. but no, I was just kind of realizing this because it's been on news, and I've been seeing like these videos of these people going through this epidemic of opioid crisis, and wow, oh my gosh, Americans really love to get high. But I realized, you know what, that's maybe not. I mean, of course, it's not great the way it's turning out right now, but there is a desire to be high, to be higher, right? And I think there is a desire in every single person to actually feel that the freedom of being high, right? But what we're talking about here, of course, is not a high that you get through some substance, but it's this high that you get from the Spirit, right? And I think that's actually what people are actually wanting, is to get high through the Spirit of God, where they feel like their inhibitions just go and they are taken over completely by this incredible Spirit. So let's get high with the Spirit. Amen. New era. That's right. Yes. A new high. A new kind of high. That's right. The reason why I wanted to talk about this today is because I think we've all had the experience at some point in our life of experiencing like a spiritual high, right? Like maybe we go to a workshop, or you go to church and you hear a great prayer and you're praising and worshiping and you feel this incredible high, right? But what often happens is the next day or the next week or the next month, we feel this crash, or we feel down. We feel, what happened to that Spirit? Where did it go, right? Some people call that the workshop high, right? I remember the first time I came back from a workshop, I was so inspired. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna love my family. I'm gonna never miss a day of church. It's And my siblings are like, oh, Justin's got the workshop high. See how long that'll last. Yeah. So I think we all know this experience, right? But I really felt, but I really want to have this feeling, this high all the time. And I remember when people would say, oh, Justin's on a workshop high, I would feel, I'll show you. It's not just some workshop high. I'm a different person. This is it. Of course, I go through some ups and downs, but I think I really feel it's a wonderful thing to strive for living with the Spirit of God in our daily life. Just before we continue, I did want to say thank you so much for all of those who joined us. I've been joining us in our 21-day morning condition. We're on day 7 right now. And it's been so nice to actually wake up and see our family every single morning. It's brought me so much joy. And actually, last night I was praying, and I was kind of feeling like a struggle because, my wife and my son are not here. During the day, I get busy. It's okay. I don't think about it that much. But when I'm alone by myself at night, then I start feeling this like loneliness, I'm like, oh, I really wish I could, cuddle with my wife right now and just see her. So I was just praying God to God, trying to feel comfort. But then what showed up when I was praying was this image of the Zoom screens with all the brothers and sisters just looking at me, and I felt like this tremendous love, hit me of, these brothers and sisters. And I started just, focusing on each person and saying their name out loud and saying, thank you, thank you, thank you. And I just, felt, tears come to my eyes, and just this feeling of like, wow, there's so much love here. I feel so loved right now. And so, yeah, I just wanted to say thank you to this community. I really do feel your genuine love and care. Give yourselves a warm round of applause for being so amazing. Yeah, of course, this is always open for anybody if you'd like to join. We actually had a few new people this morning. So anytime you'd like to join, feel free to join us at 6 a.m. So back to this topic. Basically, through this talk, I want to explore this question: what does it actually take to live with the Spirit? I think there's inevitably going to be times where we feel distant from God, we feel disconnected from God. But what does it take to get reconnected, to get back to feeling that Spirit of God inside of us? And this has kind of been my trial since I came back from Las Vegas. Is how do I keep this Spirit going? How do I not allow the Spirit to leave me? Or if it leaves me, how do I get back into it and get to a point where I can feel God again? So, one analogy is, has anybody ever heard of what grounding is? You know what grounding is? Yeah. Yeah, grounding is this practice where you go out into nature and you take off your shoes and you just, with your bare feet, and you just, feel the earth on your feet. And it's supposed to have some kind of healing effect on you. It's supposed to be really good for you. You can feel the energy and the nutrients from the earth in your body. When we're normally outside, we're normally wearing these shoes, right? And just this like little bit of, space is blocking from our body from hitting that ground, from really receiving that nourishment from Mother Earth, from the nature. And that's kind of like our spiritual life, right? Is like God is actually all around us. The Spirit is right there, but there's usually just this little space that's blocking us from receiving that love, receiving that grace, that experience of God's Spirit. This is from Mother Moon's autobiography. She says, "No matter who you are, you will not experience only sweetness and joy on the path to the kingdom of heaven. Going through a spiritual struggle is, in fact, a most precious blessing." So what Mother is saying is that, struggle is not something that, eventually I'll get to that point where I'm just with God and there'll be no more struggle. Struggle will just be, out of the picture and it'll all be great. But no, True Mother is saying that struggle is a part of the journey. It's part of the spiritual path to the kingdom is to experience this kind of struggle. But of course, we don't want that to be it, right? We don't want life to just become one big struggle and to see ourselves as like, oh, I'm a struggling person, I'm a struggling member or whatever. We don't want life to become the struggle. We do want to also know how to win the struggle, right? It's like you go hiking and yeah, you're struggling through and you're trying to get to the top. But eventually, you do want to get to that top. Now, when you get to the top, you got to go back down, and then you got to go back up again. But we want to win the struggle. So how do we do that? So first of all, I just want to say, I think it's very easy in our life to get kind of passive, kind of like, meh, like it's okay. I'm not feeling it right now. Maybe I'm not going to pray right now because I'm not feeling it. And just kind of like go with however we are feeling on that day, whether or not we feel close to God some days or we don't feel close to God. We just kind of like go with however that feels. And sometimes we just accept, well, today I'm not feeling God. Maybe tomorrow, maybe the next day. Anybody said that to yourself? Like, this is it, this is it for today, maybe another day. Or sometimes we just are very passive, or we settle about our relationship with God. Like, this is just the way that my relationship with God is, right? We might say, I'm just not the emotional type of person to really connect with God on that level, or I'm not the spiritual type, or I'm not the prayer type. I just don't pray like that, like those other people, and we get it inside that this is who we are. And it's just like, this is the way I am, and there's probably nothing that's ever going to change about this. So let me just learn to live with it, right? I don't know if you've ever been to a prayer hall and there's like somebody in that prayer hall, and they're just praying, and they're just pouring out their heart and their tears. And I remember when, before I really had experiences with God, I was at a workshop for the first time, and I would go into the prayer hall, and always, there would be some like older Korean woman in the prayer hall, and she's just praying, and she's like, oh, and she, and she's just crying and crying and crying, and I'm like looking at her, I'm like, what's going on? Like, what is she feeling that I'm not feeling? And I couldn't, it was hard for me to understand how people could have such emotional and tearful and deep prayers, and of course we know from Father Mother Moon's words, they always talk about, we got to pray with tears, and it's very easy to start feeling like, okay, there's something wrong with me, I'm not getting that, and then just like accept it, like, well, there's just something wrong with me, and there's nothing going to change about that. My prayers are what they are, and that's okay. Right? But I feel it's so important for us to commit to living with a higher standard in our life. To say, maybe I haven't prayed like that before. Maybe I haven't felt that spirit so deeply in my heart before, but I want to make it happen. I want to go for it. That's the kind of prayer life I want to have. It's a prayer where I feel God so deeply inside of my heart. I had an experience when I was in Thailand where I kind of realized how passive I can be sometimes in my life. And in Thailand, on the last day we were in Thailand, we were going to this amusement park called Safari World. And my son, and the whole day, we're telling my son, there's going to be elephants, there's going to be giraffes, and you're going to get to see all these animals, and he's getting so excited. And then we're taking a taxi there, and the place closed at like 5:30, and it's like 3:30, and we're like going there, and there's traffic. Like, oh my God, are we gonna make it? I buy the tickets online. I'm like, okay, we got the tickets. At least when we get there, we'll be okay. And then we finally get there. It's like 4:30. It's like, okay, we got like an hour. When I get to the window, and I'm like, okay, we've got the tickets already. And then they look at the tickets and they say, oh, I'm sorry, sir, those tickets are for tomorrow. I was like, oh my God. I was like, oh, this stupid website, blah, blah, blah. I was so like upset, And then I was talking to them. I was like, well, can we just buy tickets right now? And they said, well, the park's closing really soon. Do you really want to buy tickets? And then I was just like, okay, whatever. We're not going to this place today. It's not happening. So I go to my wife and I tell her, it's not going to happen today. But she says, she's like, oh, this is so disappointing. And my son is there, and he's like crying, and he's like, we're not going to see the animals. It's like, what? I wanted to see the animals today. And my wife was like, she looks at me and she's like, just see if we could go, even for 30 minutes. And I was like, are you crazy? We're going to spend like $100 to get into this place for 30 minutes? My heart was like, no, we lost. Like, this is a failure of a day. Like, it's not going to happen. But then like something kind of clicked in me. it was like, when I saw my son and he's crying and he's like so sad, I'm like, you know what? I don't care. Like, even if it's 30 minutes, let's get into this place. Let's make this happen. So, I talked to the lady and I say, I don't care. We have 30 minutes. I just want the tickets. Just give me the tickets. She's like, okay, here's your tickets. And we pay. And we had a really good time, actually, for just 30 minutes. But, kids don't have a great sense of time. So 30 minutes to him was like the whole day. And he was just so happy, He got to see the animals. And, we left very, very happy. But what I experienced at that point was, I got a chance to look at myself and see, where else do I do this in my life where I just kind of accept defeat? Just, okay, this is not going to work out. And I just kind of back up and I just back away and say, maybe tomorrow will be a better day or the next day will be a better day. Rather than fighting for what I really want and feeling this passion, this fire that no matter what, I'm going to make this happen. So that was just one experience that I realized, I need to really have a higher standard for my life, where I need to see what I want and I need to fight for it. And I can't just allow life to defeat me like this. I'm a history buff. Anyone else like history here? Any history fans? There was a famous battle in ancient Roman times where 20,000 Romans were slaughtered by the German tribes. Anybody know what the name of this battle was? It was no? Okay. The Battle of Teutoburg Forest. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that. Teutoburg Forest. Yeah. It was this very famous battle in the ancient times. And, even though the Romans had the most powerful and amazing, high technology army in the world, they were defeated by these, what Romans would call barbarians. Right? And how did they lose? Is because the Romans didn't know that they were in a battle. The Romans, they were just walking this path in a straight line going to their destination. They were not expecting a battle. They didn't think there was a battle going on. But the Germans, they were ready for battle. This was a battle. And so the Germans, swoop in and they ambush the Romans and they just slaughter them because they didn't know that there was a battle going on. And that's what I was reflecting on is a lot of times we don't realize that there is a battle going on right now. We live life just kind of walking nonchalantly, not thinking towards the next destination, the next thing to do, not knowing that we're actually in the middle of a battle, that there is a battle raging within us. There's a quote, maybe you've heard it, says the greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world he didn't exist. So, I'm not going to get into the whole, what does the devil look like? And is it this, red being with horns or whatever your image of the devil might be? Call it the devil, call it evil spirits. In coaching, we call it your gremlin or your negative thoughts, whatever it might be. I think they're all the same. The reality is there is this battle that is going on. And if we don't realize that there is an enemy there, then we're not going to be ready for it. And we're not going to be able to fight the battle. I wanted to go back a little bit to my experience in Korea. I think, was it a couple months ago, back in beginning of May. I shared a little bit that when I was in Korea, the first 4 or 5 days were kind of a challenge for me. I didn't really feel much of anything of what was going on. I was just kind of going through the motions, going to this event and then that event. I did go to the prayer hall a few times, but I would pray, and again, I just wouldn't feel anything. I would just be like, okay, maybe not today, maybe the next time I go to the prayer hall, I'll feel something. Okay, not this time, maybe the next time, maybe the next day, maybe the next day after that. Sometime I'll feel God, at the prayer hall. Anyone else ever been like that, have that kind of attitude? Yeah. But then at the last, I think it was the last day, we gathered together with some of the other kind of leaders. And I had a conversation with one sister. Her name's Kayleigh Moffitt. She's actually the president of Women's Federation right now. Wonderful sister. And she said something to me that kind of had this click. And she said, every time I go to Korea, it's like a spiritual battle. I was like, oh, wow. It's like, no wonder I'm feeling so defeated, and no wonder it feels so hard, because it's a battle. And I'm not fighting. I'm not fighting the battle. I'm just kind of letting it play out. I'm just surrendering and feeling defeated. So, the next day, it was the last day I was in Korea, and I really determined in my heart, I'm going to leave this place victorious. I'm going to leave this place feeling grateful, feeling understanding why I'm here. And so I went up to the top of the mountain. This is the view on that time. Literally looks like you're on top of heaven, right? And I prayed. And in the beginning, I didn't feel that much. It was just God, I'm here. And thank you so much for allowing me to be here, blah, blah, blah. And then I started feeling this desire. And I just said to God, I don't feel you right now, but I want to feel you. I want to feel you right now. Right. Please come into my heart and let me feel you, God. And I just started, with energy and power and emotion, begging God, please let me feel you right now. Please let me feel you right now, God. I don't want to leave here without feeling you, God. And the more I would say that, the more I would make it that I'm not leaving here. My determination is that I'm not leaving here without feeling you, God, in my heart. All of a sudden, I felt it. And it was incredible. It was amazing. I felt God. And I started to just, repent and feel this deep heart of God. And I felt, God, I felt so sorry, because I realized even though God was fighting for me, I was not fighting for God. God was there this whole time, but I wasn't putting in the effort. I wasn't fighting the fight to reach God and to let God into my heart. So, I was just so grateful when I left, because I could leave with that feeling, And I want to share this, because if you ever felt like you can't feel God, you can't reach God, I want to just say, don't give up. Keep fighting, keep asking, keep pleading with God until God comes into your spirit, because it is possible. So, with every battle, there's always an enemy, right? There's always some force that you're fighting. And there's a famous quote by Sun Tzu. I don't know if I said that right. You know what I'm talking about? You got to know your enemy, right? Know your enemy. So, I was thinking about, what is the enemy like? What is, Satan or the evil spirits or whatever you want to call it? What is it like, this enemy? And I realized really what the enemy is like is an enemy is an accuser. The enemy is that voice that we all hear that accuses us constantly in our life. But not just accusing you of, oh, you didn't wake up early this morning or you didn't pray, but it's really an accusation that accuses on the level of your identity. Right? It accuses you saying you're not enough, you're not worthy, you're not good, you are not God's child, you are lazy, you're not a spiritual person. Those accusations that we hear that stop us, and we just accept it. When we just accept it, then that totally blocks us off from reaching God. You know, I realize that there's a huge difference between that voice and the voice of God and true parents. And sometimes people might feel like accused by God or accused by true parents, but I realize that true parents never say things accused on that level of your identity. They never say, they might say, you got to fulfill your responsibility or else there's going to be some indemnity to pay. But I mean, that's the truth. That's a reality. That's like telling your kids, like, don't touch the fire, you'll burn your hands. Coming from this place of love, but it's never, you're not good enough. It's never, you're not worthy of God's love. They would never speak that way. And today we were reading, I think it was today we were reading, True Mother's words, and she was saying some pretty, honest and truthful things. And at the end, what does she say? She says, you all look so beautiful, like daffodils. It's like they always come back to that point of acknowledging our identity, our beauty as God's children. And so, I think sometimes we make this mistake of thinking that voice accusing us is God's voice, or that is our conscience telling us, oh, I'm not worthy. I'm so sorry, God. I didn't do well enough. Oh my God, I'm such a bad person. I'm not worthy to be your child. But actually, that voice is not God's voice. And we shouldn't accept that. We shouldn't accept that into our life. And, I actually got this insight through an experience I had this week, through an email I got. And before I share the story, I just want to say, I'm not condemning anybody. I promise you, I'm not condemning anybody. I'm actually grateful that I received this email. Anyway, I received this email on, I think it was Monday morning or Tuesday morning. And basically, it was an email accusing me of some things. It was accusing me of being arrogant. It's accusing me of, oh, you're making it all about you. And, this is not, Justin's church. This is God's church. All this kind of stuff, And I just felt like, like I felt accused. I mean, it hurt, And I wasn't really sure at the time how to digest it. But I decided, I'm not going to answer right away. Let me just take some time. And I was praying about it. And, anytime I receive feedback, even if it's, very obviously critical and accusational, I always try to find, the grain of truth in it, try to grow from it, right? So I just sent an email back. Oh, thank you so much for your words. I appreciate it. I thought, but it was bothering me that entire day. I was just like, I kept going in and out and finding myself trying to comfort myself through whatever, through YouTube or whatever, because this is pain in my heart. I didn't want to feel it, And it was only until the end of the day that I had some time, quiet, and I was getting ready to go to bed, and that email just kept coming out. Like, what's going on? Like, do I just, I was taught, turn the other cheek, right? Just when there's something you get attacked, just turn the other cheek. But when I was, I started to talk to God about it and pray about it, and something else came up. And I thought about my son. Such a handsome, wonderful guy. And I started to think about him, and I started to think, well, what if somebody had sent this email to my son? What would I have done, or what would I have felt? And suddenly I started feeling this kind of feeling of, I got to protect my son. I would want to protect my son. I wouldn't want my son to hear these words. And I realized like God's heart towards me and towards his children in that moment. And why we say God is this suffering God, this painful God, is because God has been dealing with all of his children being constantly accused by Satan. These voices of, you're not enough, you're not worthy. And I thought, if anybody ever said that to my son, how would I feel? I would be indignant. I would be so angry. How dare you say that to my son? So I realized, you know what? God, I'm not going to accept this accusation. And I repented. I repented for not protecting myself, for not honoring myself and my heart. So I realized God wants to protect us. If God could, God would not want these kind of accusations entering into our life. And I just felt this tremendous love that God has for each and every one of us. And I realized, that is really the key to winning the spiritual battle, is connecting with the heart of God, connecting with that parental heart. How does God see us in this moment? To not just, pray from our perspective, but really try to dig deep and understand, what is God doing right now? How desperately does God want to reach me in this moment? So I want to just close, just emphasize these 3 points about winning the spiritual struggle. It's one, we can't be passive in this life. We cannot just let life come at us. We have to raise our standard and say, I'm going to have that kind of relationship with God. I'm going to have that kind of experience with God. And we have to know that we are in the midst of a spiritual battle. We have to fight. We cannot just submit to our emotions, our feelings, our circumstances. And finally, to tap into that heart of God, to really tap into, how does God feel? How is God doing right now? And try to see ourselves in that moment of desperation when you're trying to reach God. Try to tap into, how is God seeing me as I desperately try to reach out? And trust that if you are desperate and if you fight, God will be with you. God will be with all of us. So I just want to say thank you and say, we have a choice to make every single day, every single moment. We have a choice to make, to fight or to just submit, to fight for life, fight for this community, to create a community of spirit and truth, fight for this world. And the great thing is we get to do that together with our brothers and sisters, and we get to do that with our true parents. And we're so lucky to have them. Thank you so much. Please join me in prayer. Our most beloved Heavenly Parent, true parents, we thank you so much for this wonderful Sunday that we can gather here together with our brothers and sisters, God. Heavenly Parents, I really want to ask for your presence here, and not just here, but to go with each and every person here, Heavenly Parents. I pray that this sanctuary can become your womb, the womb of our Heavenly Parent, where we can feel that rebirth, God. We can feel you, and we can feel it inside of our hearts to fight for that connection with you, just as you have been fighting for so many years, God, waiting for your children to stand up, to step up, to wake up, to fight too, to know that we are worth fighting for. God, I ask that if there's anybody here who's feeling that struggle, feeling defeated in their life, God, that you can reach out to them. Reach out to them through one of our brothers and sisters. Reach out to them through an inspiration, through a thought, through an idea, through an emotion, God, that you can come into their hearts and show them that fighting spirit, that they are worth it, God. They are your children. They are loved, God. there's anything that you could not express today, God, I pray that through our prayers that we can hear from you, God, what we need to hear today. God, we're just so grateful. We thank you so much. And again, we're committed, God. We want to draw the line in the sand and say from here on out, God, it's going to be different. From here on out, it's going to be a new era, a new book, a new beginning for our community, for our world, God. To feel that excitement build in our heart, God. To feel your excitement, because your excitement is so much greater than ours. We can't imagine how your heart must be bursting with the joy and the excitement of this new time, this new era that our true mother is opening together with our true Father in heaven. We thank you so much for all the brothers and sisters here that have gathered here, despite how they felt this morning. However they felt, they decided to come here to give a chance to feel you today, God. And I pray that you can make that connection with them. You can accept their offering of just their presence here today. We thank you so much, God. Thank you for this life we get to live. And I pray and pour all of this in all of our names. In my name, Justin Okamoto of Blessed Central Family. Haju.
Thank you, Pastor Justin. Let's give one more round of applause, please. Really, really beautiful, beautiful sermon. Thank you so much. So right now we'd like to take this time to just offer some reflection before we get into pair share. So we'll have some nice ambient music. Feel free to close your eyes and just reflect about the message shared today. Alrighty, thank you everyone. So now I'd like to ask for everyone to find a partner to pair share just your reflection on what you've gained from the message, any possible action steps that you'd like to take this week as well. Feel free to share with the neighbor next to you. We'll do 3 minutes each, and I'll let you guys know when to switch. Thank you. All right. If the other person hasn't shared yet, please make sure to give them some time to do so as well. You guys can switch. Thank you. Alrighty, everyone can start wrapping up. I'm sure there's lots and lots to discuss about. It's a very powerful sermon, right? And I'm sure we all want to be spiritually high all the time, right? So, want to invite up just a few people to share their reflection on the sermon. Any volunteers? Volunteers that like to share anything they felt, maybe anything they want to bring back with them. Uncle Peter Reiner.
I just have a very quick reflection. Somebody did not like this sermon at all today. And you know who that is. That's right. So, but man, oh man, that was an incredible sermon. Q and I had a wonderful sharing. It just was really, really wonderful. Thank you, Pastor.
Thank you, Uncle Peter. Uncle Bill, and then, or Mama Joseph. Okay, yeah, and then Uncle.
I just wanted to share that somewhere in the scriptures, I can't quote chapter and verse, but it says that we wrestle not with flesh and blood, but of principalities and wickedness in high places. That's what I think it's in one of the that Paul speaks about, you know. And so, and I just want to make a couple points. Just in what's in somebody's head or in writing, it's not in your head. It's just their perception. So it's not mine. So don't take it. Don't even dwell on it. Bye-bye. But the thing is, you have to practice. We're in a world where we have to practice. This is a world where you have to, we were conditioned from the beginning of time, you know, to think that everything is out there. No, God is in me, God is wherever I am, and therefore I have to begin to. I'm still doing it, at my age, I'm still doing it. Because this conditioning started way back when the Israelites made the golden calf. So we're thinking now, okay, well, we have to see God. No, He is just energy conscious, energy intelligent, and everything that we have, He gave us. So we have to learn how to activate those things. It's going to, first of all, we have to throw out the garbage. And first, we work on the garbage that we inherited from ancestry, from environment, and everywhere. So now, when we throw that out, begin right away. So start with nothing, not in my head. Okay, you wrote that. That's your percent. Okay, bye bye. Right away. Don't let it stick there for a second, and you'll see. But it's practice. I'm sorry, and you can do it better than I could because I have a long time of the garbage, keeping it and hugging it and all of that. So, so that's what I like to share with everybody.
Thank you. Actually, like Gary and I were sharing, and Gary said, "Oh, I wasn't expecting that," and that right? If I can paraphrase, that was a very high level of message, very, very profoundly hearing from God. And I feel that, whatever you want to call it, it's this new era that we're in. And I just wanted to actually go back to one of the first questions was, have you ever felt inspired? Something like that. And then the next one was, do you want to feel that all the time? Not that there could ever be a right and a wrong answer to something like that. But for, the right answer is not necessarily, yes, I want to feel that all the time. The sermon then explained to us there are ups and downs in life, and we need to. And Mother said, what was it? The suffering is a great blessing. So I mean, through the depth and through the heights, and we continue to go.
Yes. Amen indeed. Thank you everyone for sharing. And yeah, again, the message is so powerful, right? So it just takes us continuing to check in with one another, right? Making sure that we're looking out for each other, because as much as there could be an accuser, right? Telling us that we're not good enough, telling us that we can't do it, we're not strong enough, we can't fight it enough, right? Sometimes the accuser is us ourselves. And so we really need to make sure that we're checking in with each other and making sure that the love that we can give, someone is receiving in return, and then they can give that love to someone else. Sound good? We are a community, we're a family, right? So yes, thank you so much everyone for sharing. Pastor Justin, let's welcome up the song team.
What a wonderful sermon, what a wonderful message. Right, we're Americans, we're not Americans. Right, that's one thing about us. We can do anything that God puts in our heart. There's many things that maybe you shouldn't do, but that doesn't mean that you can't. Right, God is all about you being empowered. Power the will in your heart. As Edmund Burke said, right? The only thing that serves you will find in this world is that God in your heart. 3. I'll cherish hopes of Thank you so much. God bless. Have a happy Sunday.